Welcome to another episode on our channel. I'm so sorry, haven't been able to get on for a while, and it's been really hectic at work. This week is going to be crazy, so I'm trying to record some things right now. And this part is the market trend analysis. And I tend to look at obviously eBay, the secondary market, and Hot Toys complete figures with their art box and mailer box. That's what I'm really focused on. Just to kind of get a feel for how the market is. Is it good for the seller? Is it good for the buyer? That sort of thing. So what I did this time around is I took a collection of 300 items early in the month and for October, and 300 items at the end of the month, for a total of 600 items. And out of the 600 items, not looking at specifically Hot Toys, just everything in general, there were 62 sales. So out of 600 items, 62 sales, just a touch over 10% sales. And that's those two samples. Out of the 600 items, there were 49 Hot Toy items that were listed. 35, and those were complete packages with art boxes and mailer boxes. 35 of those items did not sell. And 14 of those items did sell. So I'll go over quickly the items that did not sell, the 35 items that did not sell, and break it up into categories. So from $100 to less than $200, 17 of those items did not sell. 17 did not sell. And the range there was actually something listed for $100 and something listed at $199.99. So 17 of those items did not sell. From $200 to $299, and there was actually something that was listed for $200. The highest item in that category was listed at $297.18. 10 of those items did not sell. 10 did not sell. $300 and over, and the lowest item in that category was $350. The highest item was $699.99. Odd number, but it's not quite 700, I guess. So maybe somebody would go for it. Well, no one went for it. So between $350 and $699.99, 8 items did not sell. Now we move on to probably the most important data point, or sets of data points. 14 items did sell. Hot Toys figures, complete packages with art boxes and mailer boxes. So for items between $100 and $199 or less than $200, 8 items sold. So that's 57% of the 14 items. 57% of the 14 items sold. Between $200 and $299, less than $300, 3 items sold. And $300 or over, 3 items sold. So for the $100 to $199 or less than $200, there was actually something listed at $100, and the highest thing listed was $177.50. And again, 8 items sold, which represented 57% of the Hot Toys figures sold. 200 to less than 300, the actual range was, yes, something was listed at $200 and something was listed at $290. 3 items sold. And 300 or over, yes, something was listed at $300, exactly $300, and something was listed at $415. That was the highest one. 3 items sold. Now I'm turning my attention on gross losses or gross gains. Out of the 14 items that sold, only 3 items out of 14 had a gross gain. Now, I'm going to argue that those gross gains were really not net gains. And gross gains just looks at Sideshow list price and it looks at eBay sell price. That's it. On Sideshow's end, I can't computate taxes. I don't know what state it's going to. I don't know what the shipping and handling is to that state. So I can't really calculate anything net related there. It's just the list price. And on eBay's side, you're a little more comfortable. But since you're not doing anything on Sideshow's side, why do anything on eBay's side? But typically, their cut is 13.5% on a sale, which is sizable when you think about that. All right, so for the 14 items, it was a gross loss. 3 items, it worth gross gains. The lowest gain was $15. And so the list price at Sideshow for this item, which was a No Way Home Spider-Man Green Goblin with William Dafoe. William Dafoe is a great actor. Always loved him. Platoon. Great actor. So it sold for $415 on eBay. All right. List price on Sideshow was $400. Gross gain of $15. That would be nice if it was a gain, but it is definitely not a gain. So the only thing I can really look at is eBay's sell fee, which would be 13.5%. So if I take $415 and I multiply, or I find 13.5%, the cut of 13.5%, multiply by 0.135. The cut from eBay is $56. So the gross gain was $15, but eBay took $56 off that sale. So nobody gained anything in that sale. They lost money. They lost at least $40. $56, $15 gain. They lost $41. The next gross gain was $35, and that was for a Umbra Operative Art Trooper, Star Wars. $35 gain. And they sold it for $300. So it was a $35 gain. $300. Now, I'm going to take $300 and multiply by, or find the proportion of 13.5%, multiply by 0.135. So eBay's cut was $40.50. So they sold it at $300. eBay took $40.05. Technically, between Sideshow list price and eBay's sell price without the seller fee would have been a $35 gain, but eBay took $40.50. So they lost at least almost $5, $4.50. But they lost probably more than that because of Sideshow's taxes and shipping and handling. So that was not a net gain. I can confidently say in both those situations, no net gain. The highest gross gain was $65. And then you kind of say, well, maybe they made some money. All right. So they sold a Star Wars Grand Moff Tarkin figure for $290. So technically they made a $65 gain. Gross gain, $65. But if I take the sale price on eBay, $290, and then I look at eBay's cut of 13.5%, I multiply that by 0.135. eBay took $39.15 off of that sale. So let's just, I should probably round down, but let's round up because it's easier to figure the numbers. $40. Round up $40. They had a gross gain of $65. eBay took $39.15. Let's round up to $40 just for the heck of it. Makes it easier to subtract in my head, and that's $25 gain. But wait, there's more, because Sideshow would have charged, when they bought the item originally, the seller on eBay, they would have charged taxes and shipping and handling. I'm sure that ate away at that $25 gain. And I would dare say that they probably were lucky to break even with the sale, because taxes and shipping and handling are probably going to add up to at least $25. It's going to be my guess, my best educated guess. So out of the 14 items that sold, I can confidently say that 13 of those items did not produce a profit. And I can almost confidently say that all those items did not produce a profit. I dare say the last one probably just broke even, if anything. That probably would have been the best case scenario. So what are we saying? Basically, what we've been saying over all the months I've been doing this section, it's not a seller's market. It definitely is not a seller's market, at least through eBay. And part of that is because the eBay fee is so high. And now you have to worry about taxes. You have to worry about shipping and handling and tariffs. So when everything is grouped together, I would say that appreciation is not a word we're embracing at this time as collectors. You have to have something that's pretty rare, and or somebody really, really wants that item. And yours is the cheapest one available, and you have a good rating, you could probably make the sale. All right. Whether it will be breaking even, making a gross gain, making a net gain, it's all ambiguous, but the odds are not in your favor. It's probably more of a buyer's market than it is a seller's market. But that's getting harder these days because the economy is so unpredictable right now. People are pinching their pennies, right? And the thing that I do is and I've shared this before, in my head, I think of the price I'm willing to pay for something if it's going to be an auction. And I give myself 7 seconds to place that bid. So I do not get into a bidding war. And I just walk away if I don't get it, period, for the price that I'm willing to pay for it. And pretty soon I'll forget about it or find a better deal. I've gotten more interested in Facebook because you don't have taxes and you don't have shipping and handling, especially somebody's close, right in your hometown. So there, I think you can do better as a seller or as a buyer. But it's still an iffy market on both sides, really. I do notice that people, if you break the set up and you list all the items of that set, at least for me, I get excited because I think, okay, I just want one weapon. I don't want all the weapons. I just want one outfit. I don't need additional clothing. I'm just, what can I get away with? And the head sculpt, because I can find a cheap body and customize it, And then as a seller, if you can get what you want out of those items, and then you have the accessories and people start buying those things up as well, then you might be able to turn a profit. That's my 2 cents anyway. So I haven't shown you anything, but I hope what I've said makes sense and the information is useful to you in some respect. Regardless, I hope you've liked what you've heard, or at least found the information useful. And subscribe, give us a thumbs up. In the meantime, everyone, please have a great day.